Oh yes, I love Scary Alvarez skull sessions, but not only do I nail the fade, the Foundation's fabulous ditty, I have some fantastic news to discuss. And today's quick hitter from your boy is about why Mason Posa matters. Okay, so unless you've been living under a rock or follow Minnesota Gophers recruiting, there was a big thing that happened yesterday for the Wisconsin Badgers who secured a commitment from consensus four-star linebacker Mason Posa of the Albuquerque, New Mexico, uh, the biggest badass to come out of Albuquerque since Walter White, 6'3". He's listed at 210 weighing. That's probably a wrestling weight or something. He's going to be bigger than that. Number 154 player on the 247 board and nationally, which is in Badger terms, that's a big deal. uh, had offers all over the place, including from Bama, a few other schools. But the chief rivals for the Badgers were the Oregon Ducks and the Texas A&M Aggies. And why? I'm going to go into a couple of reasons why this was so important. But the fundamental theme is why this matters. And number one, first and foremost, in the recruiting sense, you took on two of the absolute NIL behemoths in college football, if not college sports. The Oregon Ducks, backed by Phil Knight and Nike, you might have heard of them, and the Texas A&M Aggies, who are backed by a bunch of oil money from people who couldn't get into Texas. Um, that's a big deal. So, beyond the fact that both are, well, A&M is allegedly a really good football program, but Oregon certainly is. Probably slots in as the Big Ten's second favorite team for the 2024 season behind Ohio State. Super talented, great boosters. I happen to think their uniforms are crap, but that's irrelevant. But Wisconsin got posts on campus, which is more than those two schools could say, and they won a recruiting battle for a tremendous player, also an incredible wrestler, who can play just about anywhere. We'll get into that on defense. He's not a secondary guy, but he lines up everywhere. And while the competition is going to take a big jump, obviously next season, um, New Mexico football is not known for being murderers row. Uh, People love this kid, and I think if I read the tea leaves, Luke Fickle and this guy connected. Could be the wrestling, could just be the fact that Fickle coaches a certain kind of hard nosed defense. Uh, and I'm not saying just Fickle connected. I'm sure Tressel did as well. But this is great. So why does it matter? I mean, I alluded to this momentarily a second ago. This, in some ways, although it's just one piece of a puzzle, it showed the ability to exercise with the Badgers' ghost of not being able to close on top prospects versus elite NIL programs. Okay. That doesn't mean they're going to win every battle. We're not. We're probably going to lose most of the battles, probably by a wide margin. But focusing on a kid, this was Wisconsin's. Wisconsin was his second offer uh, of any school. Washington Huskies were Posa's first offer, but Wisconsin got in early, stayed the course, stuck with it, even when all these blue bloods jumped in, closed the deal. So that is an important thing, obviously, to show that the kind of the state of Luke Fickle's recruiting process here. And yes, it is early. And yes, a lot of the five stars that Wisconsin won't sniff are going to commit later. That's going to affect the rankings quite a bit. But as it stands right now on Rivals, Wisconsin is the number 9 2025 class in America. That's just freaking incredible. It's rarefied air at this stage in the recruiting process. Yes, it is mid-June. Understood. Yes, we are in all likelihood will drop from that position. Yes, that's true. But if the 25 class ends up the most decorated from a recruiting ranking perspective in Wisconsin history, it would not be shocking. The ratio of 4 stars to 3 stars might not look quite as robust as 2023, but I can't remember who, with Brian Smith or someone was on last night, maybe on Locked On. I'm trying to remember where I heard this. And the caliber of the kids they're getting, rankings notwithstanding, are higher this year in that person's opinion. It's just there's guys in last year's class who are never going to sniff the field. It doesn't have that vibe on these kids. So yeah, that's one person's opinion, but it's a industry professional. It's good to hear. I think it was the guy in Florida, Ryan Smith. Um, thanks to Ryan Harrington Lockdown, just absolutely all over this and breaking down things that not that you need hype for Lockdown Badgers on this, but I'm happy to give it. Um, so it's important for that reason. Secondly, from an X's and O's football perspective, it is hugely important for the Wisconsin Badgers because he's that talented. Again, as I alluded to, he needs to show it against better competition. He's playing against Skinny Pete and Badger. But I'm telling you, there's a reason why he's a widely sought after player, and he can line up anywhere. He typically lines up in the line of scrimmage. Where Wisconsin is going to use him is a mystery. My guess is, given the style of defense Mike Tressel plays, this kid's going to line up all over the place. Probably going to walk out of Madison with a ton of sacks, a bunch of tackles, and it's just great to get a player of his caliber. Yes, he has to prove it on the field. He has to come into camp next year and win a spot. Maybe he'll get redshirted. I don't think so, but it could happen because Wisconsin has a tremendous amount of talent at the linebacker position right now, inside and outside. But it just feels great to get a talent boost in this class that started out a little bit slowly. We've talked about this, as many observers were freaking out about. Oh no, this class is horrible. Um, I thought it was started a little slowly, but these last 2 weekends is going to be the third weekend of visits in Madison. Um, have just absolutely uh, bolstered this class into rarefied air for a Wisconsin Badger recruiting class, at least in mid June. And then flipping the kid back from the Gophers on the defensive line for our first defensive tackle recruit, who's just felt great this week. It's been a great week. I mean, hats off to Fick and his guys because this has been a great recruiting week. Anyway, you can get more information on Mesa Posa anywhere online. There's all kinds of good stuff on there. I just wanted to weigh in as to why this matters beyond just an X and O, beyond a rivals ranking, beyond winning a recruiting battle. This is just a huge get, and it sends a signal. There's a bunch of uncommitted guys out there that if Mesa Posa goes to the Badgers, maybe I can too. Hey, have a great Friday, Badgers. Talk to you soon.